65.
Whew, we are apparently live again. Let's try this again. Jesus. Okay, we're good. We're back. That was professional as shit. All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Unframe of Mind Show, where we have uncomfortable conversations without a condom. And if you noticed just a minute ago, we apparently went live for a minute. I'm so confused. I'm trying to fix everything, and everything just keeps getting more broken. So we're going to go live again. Try this again with my friend Chase Williams, rather. Oh, my God.
Wrong Chase.
I am falling.
Wrong Chase.
Like, this train is falling apart at the seams. So, come on in. Watch the show. Please hit the like button, because it's only going to get worse from here. But you're watching.
It's a train wreck, though, you want to watch.
Yeah,
you know you do.
Here goes nothing. Fuck it. And here we are. We're back with another episode, the Halloween edition.
Yes.
And the only thing that makes this a Halloween edition is the fact that the shit we're talking about is really freaking scary.
Yes.
Nothing to do with the fact that we're dressed like we normally do on a day-to-day basis.
Oh, 19th century clothing every day. You know, it's great.
Like, I mean, I wonder how many funny looks you get when you go out to, like, Walmart and go for your weekly grocery shopping.
Several, you'd
Several?
be surprised.
Yeah, not at all. Imagine how many looks I get when I'm in, the Goodwill, just wandering around.
Well, they may think that you clawed your way out of a gay cemetery.
A gay one? No, I wouldn't say a gay one.
They
have those?
It's the eyeshadow, I think.
It's the guy liner for sure.
Guy liner.
I feel like I'm back in my high school days again, like way back when I used to dress all gothic, except I'm just missing the big baggy Jinko jeans,
Those never need to come back again.
Are you kidding me? I would totally pick up a pair of those today.
No.
I'm pretty sure my wife threw mine away. I kept one pair.
And God bless her for it.
I kept one pair, and I really wanted them. I really wanted to wear them, but it just wasn't going to happen because I couldn't find them anywhere.
Well, I think that your wife gets a sainted place in heaven for throwing those god-awful things away.
Good riddance. That means I'm going to have to see her for eternity. Hell yeah. I'm very excited about that. Anyway, if y'all could do us a favor and please share the show out for us. My hands are a little tied up at the moment, and my normal means of sharing out the show is not available to me at the moment, so that would be greatly appreciated. So what do you say we jump into our topics for the evening?
Let's go for it.
And you had mentioned something to me about a Senate Judiciary Committee.
Yes, this past week.
I mean, I don't keep up with the minutia of politics that way. I don't really know what's going on Capitol Hill. I'm doing just
good to keep up with your normal life.
I mean, I'm doing a lot in local area. I'm helping like Chase Matheson with his story whenever I can. I'm dealing with a big event that I'm running. I'm trying to.
You asked me to MC? I know.
Running my family. So I mean, just tell me a little bit about, for those who don't know, what's going on.
What's going on is this past week, the United States Senate Judiciary Committee met, which is made up of Republicans and Democrats, both in the Senate. And on the stand was Attorney General Merrick Garland. And the subject matter was Merrick Garland's memo that he sent out directing the FBI to partner with state and local law enforcement to basically label parents that are tired of CRT being taught in their schools. They're tired of mask mandates. They're tired of the vaccination. They're tired of all this tyranny that's going on,
right,
to treat them as domestic terrorists, which, how the impetus for this was there were two school board meetings in particular, one in Franklin, Tennessee, that went viral. As a matter of fact, the one in Franklin, the person that they plastered all over the internet, the president actually took a pot shot at from the East Room of the White House. And I know that guy, and he's a very good guy. Wouldn't hurt a fly. And I said, you've kind of made history. The President of the United States kind of kicked you in the shin a little bit. Then there was another school board meeting, and it was up north somewhere, where a father was very upset that his daughter was sexually assaulted in a women's bathroom by a boy.
Yeah, no, I am aware of that story.
So those two incidences...
I think we talked about that on a previous episode.
You may
as well.
have. Those two instances was what what's the word I'm looking for? Those two instances are what preempted the National School Board Association in consultation with the White House. In other words, they colluded together to write this letter to send to President Biden,
Gotcha.
saying that, we need to crack down on these school board meetings and parents need to be, they need to toe the line and blah, 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 blah. Well, the National School Board Association has since walked it back.
Right.
Because of the pushback from parents. Well, that was October 4th when that letter was made public. Then a few days later, Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, released a memo directing the FBI to start looking into if parents were a little too heated or they were a little too upset.
What does that even mean?
Right. And treat them like domestic terrorists, put them on a no-flight list, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
So the domestic terrorist idea was not from the memo. It was just the characterization of what he's doing.
It was the domestic terrorist moniker came from the School Board Association's letter to the president, and then it was even vaguely referenced in the Attorney General's memo of October 5th.
Gotcha.
Okay, so the Senate Judiciary Committee hauls in the Attorney General, and Republican senator after Republican senator slayed him. Ted Cruz called him a hypocrite. Josh Hawley demanded that he resign.
Oh, Lord.
My favorite senator of all time, and he's not even a Tennessee U.S. senator, Senator Kennedy said, you
live in the wrong state, don't you?
Mr. Attorney General, this isn't La La Land.
Mm-hmm.
Parents, for years.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, you'd have to ask Senator Kennedy, I guess.
No, okay.
But for years, when we were in school boards and school administrations were begging parents to get involved in school, get involved in the PTA, get involved in the band boosters.
Absolutely.
Now, so many school boards, like Rutherford County, for example, this coming up month on November 11th, and it's going to be one for the history books because I've been accepted to be one of the speakers.
Excellent.
They have two policies they want to change, limiting the type of poster boards that members of the community can have in the meeting, and the what was the other one? It's 1.400 limits who can speak to the board. 1.401 limits, what kind of printed material can be distributed at a school board. These two policy changes are directly a result from what the Patriot Punk did about a month ago. One was he left in the school board building on the table when you walk in some questions about the director of schools.
Right.
And then
is that when he was telling me he's just basically they kind of look like the rest of the papers that were there. So
yeah.
Like you walk up to a table and there's a bunch of handouts.
Yeah.
He just posted them there and they stayed there for a long time.
Like
before
2 weeks.
Before anybody noticed.
Before anybody noticed it. And so the last school board meeting that I spoke at, and it's on my Facebook, and I was very direct at Chairwoman Johnson and, as I call him, Bam Bam Spurlock. I mean, the man was arrested for domestic violence. It was adjudicated, and I think he got a pretrial diversion, and it went away. But the fact is, it happened. There was a report made. We actually blew up his arrest record and put it on poster boards. And when I got up to speak, a few of the parents that I know pulled them up. And I even said, what are these, the signs that you don't want shown that speak a little truth and make some people uncomfortable?
How did that go? Did they even answer you?
No, they stood there stone silent like a bunch of idiots.
I've noticed that when I went to that event with you guys, they want you to participate, but when everybody's up there speaking, they're not interacting. They're just listening for your 3 minutes, wait for you to get off stage,
and then you'll pet you on the head and send you away.
Okay, thank you for saying your words.
The fact of the matter is, the Rutherford County School Board in particular, they violate their own policies on a near daily basis. How they pass things as a board is not even proper. I mean, we use Robert's Rules of Order. So, the chair shouldn't even be voting on things unless there is a tie. Yeah. That's a pretty universal thing. Now, I think that there's something in their rules that allows the chair to have an active vote, which I think is preposterous. Their legal team is lining them up for lawsuits. And I've seen their legal team. Mm-hmm. I'm not impressed. They should all be disbarred. Wait. Disbarred. For bad. I mean, I watched their school board attorney is the school board was asking for on points of order, parliamentary procedure. This guy had no clue, not a clue. Okay, here's reality. There's Jeff Reed, way out of frame. Had no clue what he was doing and giving them bad advice.
Mm-hmm.
A lawyer giving bad advice, that's malpractice. And it's kind of funny that since Spurlock became the director of schools, they've gone through 3 staff attorneys.
Oh, wow.
Laura Bush was one, Sarah Page, and now they're on this Monica chick.
Kind of like the movie set where Alec Baldwin, went through multiple different.
I mean, this school board is so incompetent.
You end up with the lowest of the low incompetent.
Yes,
folks
I mean,
running
I'm going to say this publicly and on the record, and you know what? If they want to sign me a cease and desist letter, then I'll do a video of me wiping my butt with it.
All right.
Okay,
Can we do a video of me wiping your butt with it?
Probably.
Okay.
The fact of the matter is the Rutherford County School Board, with the exception of one school board member now, we had 2 that were standing up, and they terrorized that other school board member. The board members themselves, Sheila Bratton, Tiffany Johnson, Coy Young. Mm-hmm. Those were the 3 that were ganging up on Lisa Moore. So Lisa Moore resigned. I don't blame her. We thank her for her service. So the only member of the Rutherford...
She resigned because of pressure from 3
of
her colleagues?
Well, it was 3 of their colleagues and their supporters.
And their supporters, right.
I mean, Sheila Bratton bruised a voter.
Yeah.
I saw her grab this lady, and I thought they were just talking. Mm-hmm. This individual comes outside after the meeting, and she's got bruise marks.
Wow.
On her arm. There has been a report filed. The individual is still trying to figure out whether or not they're going to press charges. Sheila Bratton needs to resign. I'm sorry, in the 21st century, you have no reason to touch anyone because too many people will get offended at it. The director of schools knows that there are high schools in Rutherford County that are right now, October, whatever the day is, are absolutely segregating students based upon vaccination status. And the students that are vaccinated get better treatment than the students that aren't vaccinated. And the same with masks. This is illegal. This is segregation. And I'm so sick and tired of the branch COVIDians going, well, this is in the name of public health. Show me in the law, and I've looked. It's not there. Mm-mm. Those that would give up an ounce of their liberty and freedom for just a grain of security shall have neither.
I've heard that.
That is the problem in this country, that everybody right now is running around like their ass is on fire. And there is a pandemic in the United States, and that pandemic is fear. Yep. Fear that is perpetuated by the media. It's perpetuated by our elected officials. I mean, with the exception, remember that video you're showing right now, that lady speaking at the podium, that is the head person of the Rutherford County Educators Association. And when she was questioned about CRT, when we banned critical race theory in the state of Tennessee, that woman on the podium right now said, I don't care what the state says, I'm going to teach what I want to teach. No, ma'am, you will not.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
No, ma'am, you will not.
We would like our teachers to be able to have a little more say in what they actually teach and how they operate their classroom. But at some point, you got to say, okay, there's certain things that it is not your responsibility to teach. It's not your place to educate our children on these topics. We're here for reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Yes.
Man. Just teach these young adults to become responsible, or these young adults to become responsible. Not young adults.
I mean, how did we get to this point? We got to this point because parents said, you know what, I'm going to use school as a babysitter. And they didn't pay attention to what was being put in the curriculum.
Yeah.
They didn't pay attention to any of it. I mean, if you want, we can. I mean, I was in this video. You want to react to it?
Do I want to react to you reacting to the school board? Yeah. So what the video I'm playing here is from Tyranny in Tennessee. This is part 2 of a 3-part series,
and the third part is it's the gift that just keeps.
And this is from Act Free Now. And I thought I was gonna. You were talking about the bruising and whatnot. I thought this.
It's in this.
I thought this was the one that was talking about it.
It's in towards the end.
Towards the end. Okay, but we wanted to talk about you on this show, right? Oh, sorry. Let me see if I can find you here. Okay, there you are. So let's give us some sound and see what we got here. And I have to push play.
This has to stop. You want to go back to normalcy? Stop pitting these parents against those parents, because that's what you're doing.
Okay, now that right there is absolutely, that's been like my number one like underlying message through the entire time I've been doing this show is this idea of divide and conquer.
Yes.
Trying to get people against each other. And you even mentioned the only pandemic we're facing right now is the pandemic of fear, right?
Correct.
And to be fair, it's the pandemic of fear regardless of which side of the aisle you on, and that's the problem. Both parties are acting out of fear. One side's acting out of fear of catching COVID, so we got to be vaccinated. We got to protect ourselves with the mask, and the other side is in fear of our government, in fear of people who are in charge, who might have reasons to maybe not be quite so honest with us, so to speak. They might not be being completely honest with us about what's in that vaccine. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
And there's so much fear to go around that what do you do? You end up with people battling each other. Highly emotional. You've been in a fight with somebody where both people are just highly emotional. Nobody's thinking. Nobody's actually processing, actual rational thought. Right?
The funny part about this particular night, this was a couple weeks ago, okay, when those new policies were up for first reading. The pro-mask crowd are piling on, and I'm sure you'll let it play here in a minute, where I got into the signs and stuff. The pro-mask crowd is using nothing but emotion to justify their position and some BS data. The fact of the matter is this. The school board in this state, in any of our counties, 95 counties, do not now, nor have they ever had the authority to put a face diaper on your child. Period. Dot. The end. I don't care what data they have. I don't care what their emotions are. The law is the law. And they don't have it. So if they want to continue to do this, then we're in a special session right now, which we'll segue into in a little bit. Go change the damn law. But they can't get the law changed. Matter of fact, we're running bills so that they can never do this again.
Excellent.
Again.
And special sessions, let's finish this before we get into that special session. Because this is a lot of stuff that I am aware of, but I don't know the fine details of,
Well, we can go through it.
I'm having a hard time staying abreast of all of it.
This is a joke and a farce. You don't follow your own policy. I mean, you're 1.400, are those the signs you're afraid of? The best one was Bam Bam Spurlock.
Tell me about Bam Bam Spurlock.
Okay, well, if you'll move your cruiser over to the guy that's got the transparency sign.
This guy here.
Yeah, Sam Adams.
Yep.
On Facebook. The one is the director of school's arrest record. That's his arrest record, which actually would preclude him from teaching in the state of Tennessee. Not to mention the fact...
Oh, really? So if you have an arrest record, you can't...
Pretty much.
But you can be on a school board.
Yeah, but you can't teach. And another thing they asked on his he was asked on his application, had his teaching license in any other state ever been suspended?
Right.
In Georgia, it was. They should have never given Bill Spurlock a job.
Wow.
Now, the next one is transparency. And then the next one that the other guy, the guy in the orange, is holding, those are just attack memes against Director Spurlock. The man is a thug. He is a jumped-up, testosterone-given, football coach, feckless thug. And the
Tell
school
me how you
board,
really feel.
He needs to be thrown so far out of education that he never teaches again. The man is a disgusting human being. The way he treats, in the beginning of this video, you see how he treats Sam Adams, who's coming in there to show him a court document. He goes, well, you ain't got business here. I'll have you arrested. He doesn't get to do that. The man is a bully and a thug, and he's the director of the Rutherford County school system. Fire Bill Spurlock!
I can hear you. So was it this was it this meeting where they made No, it was before that they tried to pass, or they're discussing making it where you're not allowed to bring signs into...
No, it was this meeting where there was a point of order made because of the contentiousness of some of these items.
Hey, look, if only Chase Matheson had put it up here for us. Added guidelines for posters and materials from visitors during school board meetings.
Made changes to the visitor process, decorum requirements in line with allowable and unallowable restrictions as established by the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals. This thing right here.
Yeah.
How they're going to do it.
That was triggered by you guys bringing signs.
Yes.
And I know they're like, no, we can't.
But
we don't need to see those signs now.
These two policy changes, they can listen. I've seen their legal team in action.
Right.
Okay, my dog can crap better briefs.
That's impressive, actually.
I mean, better briefs. So if they're thinking,
we're talking like tidy whities. We're talking like
no
legal
briefs.
Legal briefs. Okay.
Yeah, like my dog with diarrhea can crap.
Tidy whities with the Constitution on them, like that. Okay.
Can crap better legal documents.
You're like, shut up. Let me get with my point.
Yeah, my Saint Bernard dog who's is one leg in the grave and 3 on the banana peel with diarrhea can crap out better legal documents than these people can. They are lining themselves up for massive lawsuits. I mean, if you go back to hit play, I even make the point.
All right.
And they may make somebody uncomfortable. You are servants of the people. You are not our masters.
Most of the board refused to vote on these policies individually.
Ms. Bratton? No.
So in this picture right here.
Sorry. So when I was there, I remember them talking about the policies, and they would call them out by name, and each individual would vote, so you could hear, and there would be a record of who voted which way. But this policy, they voted with just a...
Well, what Board Member Moore was trying to do was to actually call for a roll call, a parliamentary point of order to call for a roll call vote on each policy because they're contentious.
Right. You would think if of any of them,
this is technically a first reading. So, no, this was technically a second reading. So next week, the 11th, will be the third and final reading, and then it's up for vote. And they all let's see, Jim Estes, who's the guy in the gray suit. Next to him is Bruce Me Bratton. Next one is the California commie.
Bruce Me Bratton.
Yeah, she's the chairwoman, Tiffany Johnson. She says she's a conservative, but she's a California liberal. Then on the other side of him is Bam Bam Spurlock. And then that's Clara Maxwell, who doesn't know what side of the political aisle she stands on. Sometimes she's conservative, and then sometimes she votes right along with the rest of the herd. The other one is the former board chairman, Coy Young, who owns Young's Feed and Seed in Las Casas. He should be canceled because he continues to put your children in masks. But yet yesterday at the unveiling of one of the Laverne schools, he, Jim Estes, and Director Spurlock were there unmasked. But your kids have to wear masks.
Right.
Then on around the table is Lisa Moore. Lisa Moore got so fed up with the way that she was treated by her own colleagues, with the exception of Tammy Lynn Sharp, that she resigned.
Down here?
Yeah, that is the only one. Tammy Sharp is the only member of the Rutherford County School Board who's actually standing up for parents' rights. The only one. The rest of them, all of them, should resign.
That's a shame.
Immediately, Jim Estes should resign. Sheila Bratton needs to keep her hands to herself and stop bruising people. She should resign. Tiffany needs to not only resign, but leave Tennessee and go back to California where she belongs. And they need to fire Spurlock. Coy Young knows better. He ought to resign. And, Claire Maxwell, if she can't get her act together, we can find someone better to serve in that seat. She should resign.
I'm fascinated by how well you know these people. You know the kind of ins and outs of what's going on. You know the procedures.
It's disgusting.
This is a level of education on this stuff that I don't have, and I know a great number of people don't have. Like, I didn't start learning about how these procedures actually take place until I started hanging out with you and other folks like you.
A lot of times in a legislative session, which this would be the school's legislative session, the board meeting.
Right.
A lot of things can be shot down based on a point of order of relevance. So Board Member Moore asked that for a roll call vote to go down each of those policy items and vote and discuss them and talk about them based on their merits.
Yeah.
And they said no. They voted no. So what they did, now this woman right here, I can't think of her name.
Some of which are not nearly as contested. This resulted in the proposed speech restrictions passing the first reading.
A motion?
So, is there any other highlights that you want to grab from this video before we change topics at all?
No, I think that pretty well does it.
So I do want to encourage folks, if you haven't seen these, go and look for Act Free Now's Tyranny in Tennessee, Part 1, 2, and 3.
Yes, you really need to watch
excellent
it.
journalistic work. There's been I'm pretty closely tied to a lot of these folks, and I know a lot more behind the scenes of the story. But definitely check them out. It's like our local version.
Project Veritas.
Yeah, it's like our
on
local
steroids.
version of Project Veritas. You know, he's out there. We're out there. We're getting information. We're looking for court records. We're trying to get a hold of video, or not we, but they are. And they're doing great work. So yeah, definitely check out their videos and support them if you like what they're doing. And you live in the Middle Tennessee area.
Oh, yeah.
Or the Tennessee area, really.
I mean, basically what the Rutherford County School Board is doing is they are weaponizing local law enforcement to be their personal thugs.
Right.
There are several members of law enforcement that privately reached out to me and others going, we are tired of this. We are looking for other employment because we are tired of them pitting us against the people.
Right.
Now, I mean, I absolutely abhorred political violence. I don't believe in it. I never have. That's not how you affect change in this country. So, I mean, if somebody in the room had started to get antsy and wanted to go after the school board members, I can't stand all but one of them, but I'd stand away and go, no, you're not going to do this.
Yeah.
We're going to debate this out. We're not going to throw fists. But, I mean, you know, it's absolutely crazy what these school board members think they can do. And they can do it because decisions are made by those who show up.
All right. So I would grab a couple comments here from the comments section, and it looks like Twin Starseed has joined us. Hey guys, love the costumes. Happy Halloween. Silly Redhead says thank you. I'm a glorified babysitter. I don't think he meant it personally towards you. It's just talking
No,
about
I didn't.
the views
I didn't say Redhead.
how parents tend to view teachers nowadays.
Well, yeah,
is
I mean,
more so like, you know.
Let me elaborate on that point because
Yeah.
it would appear that she may have taken offense to what I said. I am not talking about our teachers that bust their butt in the classroom every single day.
Right.
Teachers now, they're not just educators. They've got to be counselors. They've got to be doctors. They've got to be psychiatrists because, I mean, there's kids in the public school that come from a really, excuse my language, fucked up situation. Mom is a crackhead. Dad is God only knows what or where. So the teacher may be the only one thing that's the stable influence in their life.
Right.
And that's why education's gone to hell, because the parents aren't involved.
They're not involved at all. Nope, not at all.
So all these parents need to get up off their lazy butts, go to PTA meetings, go to school. If you don't want CRT taught in your classrooms, if you don't want transgender studies taught in your classrooms, if you don't want your kid to come home tomorrow and go, Mommy, Miss Johnson said I can be a girl today.
You got to show up, guys.
Then you need to show up. So no, I did not mean any insult. The teachers, to some degree, to a large degree, are as much of a victim in this as the student is.
Yeah, they're like
to the politics of it and the parents' apathy.
Yeah, in the great battle of everything, they're like the frontline fodder that's taking the brunt of the attack for sure. It's terrible. Dia, I see your comments there. She says, "I won't celebrate demonic Halloween. The Lord won't be happy."
God will forgive you.
And
omne patre filii spiritus sancto.
And while you're and Dia, while you're in the process of eliminating demonic and I would say pagan holidays from your repertoire of holidays you celebrate throughout the year, I would implore you to also rid yourself of Christmas and Easter as well.
Well, if she wants to touch on what Halloween is, Halloween, All Hallows Eve goes back to the 15th century, and it's the celebration of those that have passed away.
Right.
Now,
more so in line with how the I know in Spanish culture or Hispanic culture, it's the El Dia de los Muertos, where they're the Day of the Dead. They're honoring their loved ones who have passed on, and that's awesome. That should be what it's all about.
Well, but the thing, Halloween has kind of morphed into this night of frolic and fun, and it should be. But, there is Christian religious significance to All Hallows Eve. Mm-hmm. Now, it's not a demonic holiday. I get so tired. Listen, I'm a Christian. I'm a Presbyterian. I'm pretty biblically studied.
I'm an atheist. And people
You know
call
what?
me
And
a
I have enough
demon
faith.
worshiper.
I have enough faith for both of us.
I
You will
appreciate
be
that.
saved before it's all
I
said and done.
appreciate that. Thank
But
you.
you know, this whole Jehovah's Witness, well, all holidays are just sinful. No, they're not. The church brought those in to make conversion less of a shock. That's why they did. I mean, Christmas.
Absolutely.
Listen,
Yep.
Christ wasn't born in December. He was probably born in March.
Yeah. Well, they have really good birth records from back then.
Yeah.
You know, give or take 6 months.
So
They're pretty
you
close.
know, the fact is, at this point, holidays. We need a break in society. By the end of the year, it's like, okay, I need one night to go gorge myself on candy, one night to go gorge myself on
Alcohol.
sweet potatoes and turkey and
Oh,
all the fixes and
yeah.
the trimmings.
Don't forget.
That's Thanksgiving, and then we get to
St. Patrick's Day. Don't forget St. Patrick's Day. We got to gorge ourselves on beer.
Yeah, but that's the beginning. Actually, St. Patrick's Day is there because we have dealt with our family through October, November, December,
okay,
and then they're
okay.
still there in January. It's like I can't drink because Grandma Ethel's here, and so some of us drink by stealth. We make bourbon balls and rum balls and bake alcohol cookies. We're like, yeah, we're loving this. I mean, so St. Patrick's Day, it's St. Patrick's Day, New Year's Eve. It's New Year's Eve is the blowing off the steam from the holiday season because you've been stuck with your family for like 4 weeks, and crazy Uncle Fester keeps putting his dentures right next to your toothbrush in the communal bathroom. It's like, for the love of God, will this man please go back to Peoria?
Dia called me a smartass. Can you believe that? I never. Girl, we ain't talking no more. I can't believe you just called me that. How rude. I just can't with her right now.
It's okay, Dia. Dia, we love you, and Jesus loves you.
Oh, she knows that.
Jesus absolutely loves you. I have a direct phone line to the Almighty.
So what do you say we do a little bit of, a phobismus segment? Have you ever done one of these with me before?
No.
Okay, you've seen them before?
Kind of.
Okay, so the phobismist is basically it's your job to let everybody else know why they should be offended over whatever the world offers us. In this case,
Why in the absolute hell are people going to concerts in the middle of a damn pandemic? Have y'all all lost your mind?
slow down. Nobody knows what the topic is yet. You already gave it away. Well, it's concerts, so stay tuned for that. Gee, Lord.
Phobismus.
Okay, and on this episode of The Phobismist, we're going to explain to you why concerts are offensive. They are very problematic, and there's a number of reasons why. I just need you guys to understand that after this, if I catch any of you at a show, any of you throwing a concert, putting on a live event, anything,
calling the COVID hotline.
we are going to go. Yeah, we'll call the COVID hotline. We'll call our other professional phobismist friends, and we'll come and protest your event. Is what we will do. So, with that being said, Chase, what do you think? What do you think when you think of concerts that would be a huge problem, especially in today's woke age?
People sweating and drinking and having a good time and enjoying themselves and thinking for themselves.
Something
and not
tells me it's the having a good time that you have a problem with, since
You know,
you basically mentioned it twice.
People do not need to be allowed to have a good time. They need to serve the state. They should not be going to public gatherings in the middle of a public health crisis. They're super spreader events. It's like going to a whorehouse full of AIDS-ridden hookers and not wearing a condom.
That's true. I've done that. It's not that bad. It's really not. But yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. It is rather offensive. Absolutely.
Yes.
Now,
They should be locked up and thrown in jail.
Here's the way I see it. I see it as this is a huge, just an open-face example of straight-up inequality.
No, it's defiance.
No, it's inequality. And the reason I say
It's
that
defiance.
is because in order for everybody in attendance to be equal, you would have to make sure that every single person is exactly the same distance from the performers as possible. Like, you can't have front row seating and balcony seating.
I know, it's
disgusting. That's intolerant. That's not equality at all.
No, it's
basically
not. No equity at all.
Here's what I propose. You put the artist, so you put the musician inside of a little bubble in the middle of the room, and then you perfectly evenly space around that bubble everybody else who's in attendance.
Why should we even be having the things to begin with? Ban them.
And you space
No music.
And you space them out 6 feet apart. Now, if there are more people that want to go than can fit, you cancel the event because it's not fair to that last person who couldn't go.
No, it's not fair. It's not
So
fair.
you better cancel the event. That's unacceptable. That's intolerant behavior, and it will not be accepted.
No, I mean, not to mention they're spreading diseases and things like hope,
Hope.
change, defiance,
En-
resistance.
Enjoyment.
These
what?
things must be burned away.
I didn't even think of this before, but I have one more reason why this is hugely problematic. You see, when you go to a concert, you pay money to go see this musician, and the musician makes a lot of money.
Half the time they only have one good song anyway, so I spent
Well,
$200 to hear a bunch of crap.
Here's what I propose. Instead of everybody paying to go see the musician, why don't we just all keep our money, and any money that the musician might make, he or she spreads it among everybody else in the audience.
Do we get to shock him if he doesn't?
I think that's probably not a good idea.
Do it.
I don't know.
Do it.
Okay. All right, so we'll head on back out of the faux business segment now, because that was decent. That was decent. Silly Redhead says she's not offended. It's true. Thank you. And I mean, I'm glad you had an opportunity to clarify. And I happen to know Silly Redhead is a very, very involved teacher, probably one of the better ones, I would say. Maybe one of the better ones. She's probably one of the better ones. She's one of my favorites. Absolutely.
Huge, wonderful, completely.
She's not huge. She's just right.
You know, Donald. If I was married, I'm married to Hillary Clinton, and Silly Redhead, she kind of looking good to me.
This has been another episode of terrible, terrible impersonations. Oh boy. There's something that I wanted to explain to you why I think Joe Biden is a complete and utter genius.
You may lose me on this one.
No. You're gonna love this. And it has to do with this whole.
Let's go, Brandon.
No, that had nothing to do with him. Except, did you see where they tried to co-opt the messaging by interviewing some disabled guy named Brandon?
Let's go, Brandon.
So they could attempt to flip it around and say, "Hey, conservatives are making fun of this disabled guy."
Absolutely.
What do you
listen? The lame ass media needs to just
gotten
give it up.
so
They need to give.
bad.
We are the news now. We are the news now.
It's gotten so bad. So this from this article here, this is a supply chain crisis update. Leadership is the missing ingredient. This came out October 23rd.
That would be an understatement of the century.
Right. So yeah, check this out. So this guy breaks it down, and he makes some excellent points. A lot of stuff that I was already thinking, a lot of stuff I was already hearing, and he just kind of puts it all together in a nice package. It's very he's got a nice package, is what I'm saying. And I like.
You would notice, wouldn't you?
You know what I'm saying? So the sexual innuendo comes for free, guys. But otherwise, the show, it's free too. But I mean, if you want to donate, whatever. Anyway. Ryan Peterson of Flexport actually rented a boat and went out to see what is happening in the port of Long Beach. Here, his Twitter thread report is he actually posted this in a Twitter thread, but they compiled it, so it was much easier for me to read. So he says, yesterday I rented a boat and took to the leader of one of Flexport's partners in Long Beach on a 3 hours, tour of the port complex. Here's a thread about what I learned. First off, the boat captain said we were the first company to ever rent his boat or tour the port to see how everything was working up close. His usual business is doing memorial services. See, I don't care about that. I should have highlighted what I wanted to read. That'd have been responsible of me as a host to prepare ahead of time, so you guys didn't have to hear.
I'll take some blame too. I should have told him to do it, but I didn't.
I know, it's fine. We'll get through this together. So the ports of LA Long Beach are at a standstill. In a full 3-hour loop through the port complex, passing every single terminal, we saw less than a dozen containers get unloaded. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. There are hundreds of cranes. I counted only 7 that were even operating, and those that were seemed to be going pretty slow. It seemed that everyone now agrees that the bottleneck is yard space at the container terminals. The terminals are simply overflowing with containers, which means they no longer have space to take in new containers, either from ships or land. It's a true traffic jam. And this is something we have heard about. I think Anthony and I talked about this on a previous episode where...
do you know what the real problem is?
Let me finish this thought. But the cost of a container typically is around, I think it was like $7,000
Yeah, you did this last week, and it's like quadrupled.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, and just to refresh, because we're not filling the containers back up because we've kind of stopped our production, it's actually cheaper for China to just leave them here, make their own, and send new ones than it is to have them shipped back to them because the cost has gotten so high. So
I think we should dump them off in the ocean then.
We're having a huge bottleneck problem. What point were you about to say?
Well, okay, here's the problem in the supply chain. When you spend a year, 2020, telling the American workforce, go home. It's not safe outside.
Yep.
Oh, my God, if
Yep.
you go outside, you'll die.
Yep.
And everybody quits their job.
And pays them for it.
And then the government's giving them, in some cases, up to $7,000 a month to sit on their butt.
Mm-hmm.
Then we kind of start to come out of this hellish nightmare, this hellscape of the Democrats' design. And then they say, well, if you want to keep your job, you have to take this experimental jab that we don't really know what's in it. We don't know if you'll grow a third tail, sprout a third eye, or die.
Yeah.
Because 19,000 other people have died. But if you don't do this, then you can't keep your job. So people are going, screw you, I'm going home.
Yep. It's only going to get worse.
So the reason why the supply chain, they can put all the fluff they want to on it. The supply chain, I mean, listen, when Walmart, this cereal aisle at Walmart on Joe B. Jackson is bare, I'm pretty sure that's one of the signs of the apocalypse.
Yep.
The Antichrist draws nigh because there is no Count Chocula at Walmart.
Let's put this to imagery for just a moment, for if you'll bear with me on this. Imagine the economy before it got messed with by the Biden administration, by even the Trump administration, by all this stuff that's been going on. It was like a layer of water, like a lake. Mm-hmm. It was pretty calm. A little choppy here and there, but basically the problems were evenly spread. You know, the rough waters were pretty evenly spread across everything, and people were dealing. Then all of a sudden, you have somebody come in and just basically dump a giant boulder into the middle of the lake. And now you're seeing the ripple effects, and it's causing a very centralized problem end up spreading out over an overall industry. And now all of a sudden, the supply chain that was kind of like chugging along and kind of had figured out the price mechanisms of how things needed to work, it's pretty finely tuned in terms of the just-in-case manufacturing processes, where you didn't have to pay for a bunch of extra storage of your supply because everything was just kind of coming in as needed, going out as the demands required. So now, like, what?
Now they're going,
where do we go from here?
Well, I mean, real simple. Stop the COVID mandates. Stop them.
Yeah.
Stop forcing people to take a drug that you don't even know what it's going to do to you, because this is the study. And put people back to work. There is no reason other than the fact that we have the dementia in chief in the White House and Hills Up Harris at Naval One Observatory. These are people that cannot find a coherent sentence if they were on all 4 feet with a magnifying glass. Kamala, where's my pudding cup?
We can hear you.
Where's my pudding cup?
So let me head back to this article here. And right now he says, if you have a chassis with no empty container on it, chassis is just basically the truck with no container, with no empty container on it, you can go pick up containers at any port terminal. However, if you have an empty container on that chassis, they're not allowing you to return it, except on a highly restricted basis. If you can't get the empty off the chassis, you don't have a chassis to go pick up the next container. And if nobody goes to pick up the next container, the port remains jammed. With the yard so full, carriers and terminals are being highly restrictive in where and when they will accept empties. Also, containers are not fungible between carriers, so the truckers have to drop their empty off at the right terminal. This is causing empty containers to pile up. This one trucking partner alone has 450 containers sitting on chassis right now as of 10/21 when this was written at his yards. His is a trucking company with 6 yards that represent 153 owner-operator drivers, so he has almost 3 containers sitting on chassis at his yard for every driver on his team that they can't get rid of. They cannot put them anywhere. He cannot take the containers off the chassis because he's not allowed to by the City of Long Beach zoning code to store empty containers no more than 2 high in his truck yard, which they have changed or are working on changing this to where you can stack them higher. They removed the 2-container stacking limit, at least temporarily. I don't know the specifics. If anybody's got that information,
that shows some
please drop
forward
it in the
thinking
comments.
on their part.
So they are trying to alleviate it, at least in the local area. But this shouldn't have been a problem to begin with, is the problem. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was completely preventable and avoidable.
And the idea here is if he violates the code, they'll shut down his yard altogether, right? So with the chassis all tied up, storing empties that can't be returned to the port, there are no chassis available to pick up containers at the port. And with all the containers piling up in the terminal yard, the longshoremen cannot unload the ships. And so the queue grows longer. Now with over 70 ships containing 500,000 containers are waiting. Holy crap, those things hold 500,000 containers. Those things must be massive.
Oh, those tankers are huge.
I've never seen them before, but I
Oh,
can only
I
imagine.
have.
Like,
I mean-
I've seen one of those containers, and they're big.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I've actually seen the tanker ships that,
Yeah.
that they're on. I remember one time my grandparents lived in San Diego,
Yeah.
and we took a tour of the. I mean, they're massive, massive ships, as big as battleships, and and as much as you see on the water, that's how much they are below the water.
Holy
They're
crap.
huge.
Wow.
But there's no reason for any of this insanity.
500,000 containers, and you're going to tamper with that? No wonder they got so many. Holy crap. So he goes on to say, this is a negative feedback loop that is rapidly cycling out of control, that if continues unabated will destroy the global economy.
Which
So-
is exactly what they want.
So there is good news. He says, how can we fix it? Simple. He says, when you're designing an operation, you must choose your bottleneck. If the bottleneck appears somewhere that you didn't choose it, you aren't running an operation. It's running you. That makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
You should always choose the most capital-intensive part of the line to be your bottleneck. In a port, that's the ship to shore crane. In a port, that's the ship to shore cranes. So the cranes should never be unable to run because they're waiting for another part of their operation to catch up. So the bottleneck right now is not the cranes. It's yard space in the container terminals, and it's empty chassis to come clear
Chassis.
those containers out.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Here's a simple plan that POTUS and Gavin Newsom. Yeah, that's not simple.
So if you want to finish reading up that article, that's from roadwarriornews.com. You can find that there. And yeah, it was really interesting because he's actually very involved in this space, the supply chain space. And he's like, yeah, this is what's going on. We took the tour. We looked around. We saw what was going on. Like, guys, our cranes aren't moving. Like in 3 hours, you see 12 containers move.
Yeah,
and
there's no one there to run them.
and you have ships coming in with 500,000, and there's how many ships coming in? They said seven ships currently waiting. 7D ships currently waiting with 500,000. That's 35 million containers.
Daniel, I bet you
waiting.
that I ordered a Roland BK7M backing machine to go with one of my instruments. I bet it's sitting on one of those 7 ships in Long Beach Harbor. Could they please hurry it up? I'd like that before Christmas. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Did you happen to see? Man, if I could remember who sent it to me, where I think my mom sent it to me, but I don't remember where it's at. It was an image of the ships out there off the coast, and there's a whole bunch of people in the water right next to it with little kayaks and stuff, and it says it's people lining up for Black Friday shopping.
Right. Throw it over here. Over
Drop
here.
it down. Hey, Sean Henry, I see your comment here. So he says, hey, could I get an opinion on how to book early registration into the non-vaccinated camps?
That's not funny.
Do you get perks for registering earlier? No, but you get pokes and prods.
I mean, I'm on TikTok and I see all these people going with the crowd, the crowd waving filter. Me and all my friends, when we show up at the FEMA camps, it's not going to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be get into the car. Get into the car.
So here's the good news. Here's the good news.
We are from the government and we're here to help.
You guys, there's good news here, I promise, is that you know that we're heading down the wrong path when your overlords start to develop a thick German accent.
Yeah. See,
As long as we're still speaking, plain English.
The problem here, Mr. Daniel, is that the peasants no longer know how to govern themselves. Therefore, don't worry. We're from the government, and we're here to help.
Oh, the most dangerous 9 words of all time.
Get into the car. We'll take you to the camp, and don't ask any damn questions. Well, I'm going to ask some damn questions.
I wish you would, man.
Let's go, Brandon.
We got to figure out. Speaking of, let's go, Brandon, and let's go, Brandon, and. If I could remember what the hell I was saying or even trying to do, that would be great.
Well, I will say this for the record. There is no way, while I am able to have control over my body, that I will ever take their hokey pokey. Never, not gonna happen. Period. The end.
Oh, so let me see. Let me save the image because I'm a little bit behind. Sorry,
Guys,
not.
he did not have a lot of time for show prep today. I mean, he's not Phil Valentine, so cut him a little bit of slack.
Oh my God, this is not what I do for a living. It's not.
It should be though.
It would be nice. I don't need to save it there. Let's save it in the downloads. So get this together, man. I apologize, guys. So I'm gonna save that in the downloads. We're gonna bring up the file. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And I gotta go find it now.
It's just a little something, something.
Yeah. So basically, the idea is I bring up the downloads, I bring up the file, I show you the file, and then we move on and finish up the show. So this is the part where I'm waiting on this damn thing to open up. What is going on? Oh, it's trying to open up Photoshop. I didn't want to do that.
Maybe you need to get an XM Cray supercomputer.
It's probably time to upgrade my computer for shizzle.
Thinking machines, supercomputers not found here.
No.
Welcome
Okay.
to Slow Down Computer
You know,
Talk.
this is the smoothest segue into the next topic I've ever had in the history of the show, I believe.
Let's go, Brandon.
I'm pretty sure. Because I can't get this to show without... Yep. I can't get to show without the description on it because that's just not... They couldn't make it, usable for me. That's not a thing we can do. So we have to go the long way around this, and I'll just pull it up in Photoshop. And my computer's slow, so...
I mean, I guess I could pull it up on my phone and put it in front of the camera.
You probably could have had it up much faster than I did, but I've got it. See how slow my shit is? There's so much going on with this computer right now. Oh, I'm dragging it around. Okay, so speaking of offensive events and the fact that we shouldn't put on concerts and whatnot.
Wait for this.
We have an event going on coming up on November 13th that I want to let you guys know about. I've been working really hard on this.
Yes, he has.
If you guys haven't heard from me, it's because I've been doing this, and it's me and a couple other patriots putting together this event. It's called the Let's Go Brandon Freedom Rally and Mask Burning, and it is happening in Hartsville. The information's on my page. The information is all over Facebook. The links are down below and whatnot. But we would love to see you guys out there. We've got a number of big names coming out that we did not expect when we first started this little venture, but everybody's like immediately like getting it and loving the idea. And hopefully, if everything goes well, we're going to have a hell of a bash before the holiday season begins. And we would love to see all of you out there to come out and celebrate, hear the speakers. I'm going to be speaking publicly for the first time ever, and I'm excited about that.
So make sure you bring your eggs and your lettuce and your tomatoes for Daniel.
I prefer the beefsteak tomatoes as opposed to the little cherry tomatoes. Those little fuckers hurt. But
cherry tomatoes.
And Chase here he will be the master of ceremonies, who's going to be, you'll be speaking as well.
Yeah.
And getting us moving throughout the day between speakers and whatnot.
You've got Rod Lund from Act Free Now. Bryson Gray is going to be there. Bryson's going to be in the house.
Absolutely.
DVS 7.0 is going to be there. Chase Matheson, the man, the myth, the legend, the Mohawk.
The Mohawk, yep.
Chase Matheson's going to be there. Curtis Carney, who's running for governor, is going to be there.
Absolutely.
I mean, a lot of great people, a lot of good patriots. So if you want to come out and get jazzed up about freedom and liberty and taking your country back, because listen, I'm going to tell you something. Donald Trump is not going to save this country. He's not. He can't right now. Donald Trump is not going to save this country. You are. You are going to save this country. So stop waiting on a plan. Stop all this crap. Get involved today, and coming to our event is a great way to start. You are the savior of the country, the American people. And if you get involved today, we will take our country back.
Excellent. And if you guys aren't able to come and would like to donate to help us fund this event and pay the artists more than what we're able to at the moment, you can actually donate at givesendgo.com/Let's Go Brandon Freedom Rally. That's givesendgo.com. Let's Go Brandon Freedom Rally, and that's where you can actually help to donate and support this. We would love to. We have a lot of these folks that are coming out on their own dime. They're paying for their own tickets. They're coming out on the kindness of their own heart. We're going to pay them what we can.
Wait a minute, you're paying people? You're not from any pay.
Oh, sorry.
Oh my!
Just the big names, the guys that are on like the Spotify top chart toppers like Bryson Gray.
I am so sorry that people don't listen to jazz organ music anymore because I could be on that list.
No, you could be. You absolutely.
Oh, and by the way, I am a Trump supporter and I am an American First person. But what I said a second ago, the American people are what will save this country. Donald Trump gave you a path. He gave you a way forward. But it's up to you, the American people, to get involved. That's why you need to come support this event. You need to come to the, fuck Joe Biden event and mass burning.
It's the Let's Go Brandon event.
Same
Let's
thing.
Keep it child
It's
not. It's not.
It's interchangeable.
It's not.
I saw the video, and that woman in the media is going, "Let's go, Brandon." I'm like, oh my God, you need to be fired immediately. But, come out, support it. Daniel and Denby Morgan and Act Free Now have put their heart and their soul. He's been calling me at 3 o'clock in the morning going, hey, give me a topper on this speech I'm going to give. It's going to be a good speech, by the way. He might actually might outdo me, which would be
I don't
impressive.
know. You're a hell of an orator, man.
That would be impressive.
Hey, if you haven't seen Chase give a good speech, man, you need to come out and see it for real. Good Lord, it's so good.
I'm going to kick the tires and light the fires. We're going to,
and over those fires, we'll be burning masks.
Yes. I mean, I'm excited to meet Bryson Gray. I've talked to him on the phone. We've exchanged messages back and forth. I'm super excited about that. Rod Lund is a brother patriot. Curtis Carney should be the next governor of the state of Tennessee. And if you don't get a chance, if you haven't met Curtis, you need to come out and meet him. Chase Matheson is my brother from another mother, and he works so hard with Act Free Now and Patriot Punk Network. And, of course, Will Champlin is really good. Chandler Crump, Patrick D. Hampton, Christopher Key, Daniel Wagner, Tyson
Wait, who's
James.
this Daniel Wagner asshole?
He really needs to shave that beard off.
I heard that.
But, I mean, it's
so unprofessional.
It's a star-studded, and I was very honored that they asked me to kind of moderate it and kind of set the tone for it. These people that are speaking, they love you, they love this country, they love this state, and they're absolutely committed to defending your freedom and liberty. That's why it's so important. I cannot stress to you the amount of importance it is that the average American person get involved in this struggle. This isn't about Republicans and Democrats anymore. That's passé. This isn't even about left and right, Daniel. This is about good and evil. This is a Chinese virus trying to usher in a Chinese society. And that's not what we are. We are not the communist states of America, the Democratic Socialist Republic. We are the United States of America. And we have to stay united. And the only way to do that is to get involved. I mean, I know it sounds cliche. Everyone's like, oh, get involved. Get involved. Join a campaign. Support a campaign. Come out and support people like Daniel and Denby Morgan and Act Free Now and Unframe a Mind for bringing you good. I mean, hell, it's better entertainment TV than it's on network TV for that matter. And it doesn't even. I mean, I'm looking in their studio and just amazed at. I've never been in the studio, so to see what it is and then what the finished product is really impressive.
Oh, thanks.
I've been in a couple big-time studios, but, this is for, I like looking around and seeing great voices of the century and great artists at their best and great voices of the century, and it's just, I like it. It's so, so, so important that you come out to this event, listen to these speakers, and get involved. I cannot, all the hyperbole aside, cut the bullshit. If the American people don't get involved, then it's not even worth fighting anymore.
Excellent, man. Excellent. Hey, listen, I appreciate you coming on the show for sure.
I'm glad to be here. I hope I wasn't
It's been fun. We were off to a bit of a rocky start due to my own fault and technical difficulties, but I think once we got rolling, everything was just fine. And listen, if you guys enjoyed the show, please remember to hit the like button and share it with your friends. Tell folks about it. And do me a favor, if absolutely nothing else, if you can't come to the event, and then if you can't help donate to fund the event, grab the flyer.
And share it.
Paste it all over the place.
Share it.
Reach out to me. I have a version that you can print. It's a 2-page flyer that you can put 2 per page on. You can print them off and hand them out yourself. And just any help is completely appreciaed. So,
did you want to take some comments before we?
Yeah, I suppose we can grab a couple comments before we wrap up for the night. So Sean says, we already read that. Sean Henry says, do you accept federal food stamps as funding? I'm really not that hungry anymore. A matter of fact, no, we don't. We don't. I'm not that hungry either. I should probably eat less. I think we could both eat a little less, yeah?
Well, I mean, I don't even need a rifle. I mean, if I just exhale, these buttons are going to pop off this coat.
Inhaling. You got to inhale to pop the buttons.
No, exhale. Boom!
Oh, boy. Barter system then. He says, what can I get for a coffee can of miscellaneous screws and a pound of sugar? You know,
probably a date with my sister.
You know, probably nothing.
No, he could probably get a date with my sister.
A date with your
for
sister?
That, probably.
Okay. Well, I was going to say I could personally
if she
use.
Sees this, she's going to kill me.
I could use a coffee can of miscellaneous sugars and a pound of screws. But if that's all you got, I'm sure we can work something out. It says 3 CAT scans and a catalytic converter. Oh boy, bring the catalytic converter. That thing will be worth money in about 6 months.
Yeah, the palladium in it. Yeah.
That thing. Boy, remember back in the day when they used to steal them right off of people's cars because they were worth so much?
Yeah, it was the palladium in it.
Oh, that's ridiculous. I've never been that. Have you ever in your life been that desperate?
No.
That you were ready to shimmy up underneath somebody's freaking vehicle.
No, but I mean, I have
cut
been
off their catalytic converter. So the next morning they get out in the car getting ready for work, and they hear.
but I have been that broke that I actually ate cat food with a little bit of relish and the Friskies Tuna Delight with a little bit of relish and mayonnaise to make tuna salad. I have been that broke in my life.
Wow.
I have been that, so broke you can't even afford Spam.
I just learned something brand new about you today.
And
that was actually just a couple days ago, right?
Right? Yeah, it was.
All right, well, we're going to wrap up the show tonight. And again, if you guys enjoyed it, please share it, like, subscribe, and whatnot. You know what to do. You know the routine. But this has been another Uncomfortable Conversation Without a Condom. I've been your host, Daniel Wagner.
And I'm Chase Williams. And after this, I'm going to the health department.
What?
Well, Uncomfortable Conversation Without a Condom. I feel like I might need to go get a check.
That joke went right over my head. I'll admit. Y'all